All right, all right. It is Friday. Time for the end of the week wrap up. Has been a minute, and I apologize, but we're here. We'll start off with Mac Wall's car. Um, Give it a little wet sand and buff. Just kind of go over it, knock some of the peel and the dust out of it for him. So he's been wet sanding that. It's a process where you go through 1,000 grit through the whole thing, and then 1,500, and then that'll get buffed. But being this is such a fresh paint job, it needs to outgas. So you break the surface and it allows all the fumes to come out of that clear coat. So probably beginning Monday, we'll start getting that buffed out. But wet sanded pretty nice. And moving on to Bob's truck, uh, we finally got suspension all back underneath it. This was in the back, probably the last video you saw. We took the entire suspension apart, Raptor linered the frame, gives it a really nice texture that you can just hit with a garden hose. All up underneath. All the suspension was painted while it was out. All brand new hardware. It's all grade 8 hardware. Put in through it, all brass sleeve bushings inside, and everything's been greased. Yeah, hey, well, I got your attention. Got a question. And you can post it down below. Just your choice. To detail these bolts, we're going to make these caps. Would you leave them chrome, or would you paint them the color of the truck? Which, voila, here's the color he's chosen. It's absolutely gorgeous out in the sun. It's a really high pearl content color. But would you do chrome accents or would you do the copper? So just kind of post down the bottom, chrome or copper. I'll know what you're talking about. But we got all this put back together. All the sway bars and cantilevers are put in. Still have to connect the cantilevers and put the airbags in. But the majority of the suspension is now completed. So that's taken some pretty good progress. We're able to get John Cleveland's Barracuda out of the booth now that the big truck's out of the way. So we will start making some progress on this. Probably the first thing we'll do is get the body cleaned up, sanded and buffed, the fenders, start getting that all bolted on. And we'll start assembling things like door glass, window regulators, and that type of thing. So we're coming along on that. He's already got the back here wet sanded, so it just needs a good buffing. The T-Bird, we have basically got everything stripped. The back here's got a little epoxy on it. Just finished stripping the door and fender. And same as the other side, it's full of holes. So I have to weld up all those old molding holes. Otherwise, it's going to have issues down the road. But basically, we're all stripped all the way up to the front here. I think I got a little bit left right here on this corner. And that's about it as far as stripping the paint goes. So making good progress on that. I've showed you the door before where somebody had put some moldings in it, so holes. So I gotta go and weld all those up, and we'll dolly them out flat and just put a skin coat over that. The Studebaker, we've got the bed completely finished as far as body work goes, and now I'm working on finishing off the firewall. They got a metal panel on the other side. These trucks came, the area behind the dash and the firewall was wide open, so you could see the wiring in the back of the gauges. It looked kind of silly. So we're going to finish all that off to kind of match all the inner wells. And all the bolts you see in there are going to be removed, and they're going to be welded up solid. So everything in here will be nice and smooth. So making good progress on that. I spent a good part of the week on the Chevelle welding. So I got the firewall welded up. And I thought it was just about done, but I just found a few more holes up here in the cowl, just as we're speaking. So I got a little more welding there. We removed the drip rails per his request and welded that seam solid. What some people don't understand is when you put a roof skin on, the skin comes out over and into the channel, and then it is spot welded there. So when you cut that off, now there's nothing holding the roof skin to the jamb. So you have to do a solid weld all the way around and finish that off. So we got that all done on both sides. Some welding down here in the bottom of the quarter I took care of. The inner braces were removed. So patched in some panels, some there's some plates underneath it that covered up a hole. There was a body mount bolt there that had torn loose. So straightened that all out, straightened it up, welded that back in, and all the quarter braces. Had a little bit of welding here in the wheelhouse and in the bottom of the jam on both quarters. So we got that all welded up. And I'm not going to show you just yet, but the step van taking on a new life. Now, this is my personal project, and I think it's something you guys will like to follow along with. I'll either do another video Friday or when we get a little further up, and then we'll kind of discuss where it's going, what it's doing. But if you're into race cars and fabrication, I think you're going to like where we're going. Meanwhile, we'll see you next week. You guys have a good weekend. Be safe. And as always, like and subscribe.